And hello everybody, and welcome to another wee video. This wee video today, this is my own car. We're going to do a wee bit of diagnosis and just point out the way some of the electrics works in this Toyota Hilux Surf here. So it's the same as a 4runner. I think it's the same, pretty much the same as a Toyota Tacoma, Toyota Tundra, but it's 1995 model year, this car. So that makes it 24-year-old. So yeah, it's my daily driver. It served me well, this car, and it's all about maintenance. Do your maintenance and she'll pay back. She'll give you loads of service. So that's a KZN130 3-litre turbo diesel engine. It's still used in Landcuisers and Prados and stuff like that. I haven't really changed it much in years. Just changed the fuel injection system on it. This one here is it is electronic fuel injection, but it's all full of relays and stuff like that. So it's very sort of analog, this car, which it's actually what I like about it. So no fancy door control modules or anything like that. So the problem I have is I was driving home the other day. Looking enough, it's absolutely beautiful weather here. It's Easter time in Northern Ireland, and it's absolutely wonderful weather. So I was coming home the other day, and the passenger window there wouldn't go back up again. It went down, but wouldn't go back up. So lucky enough, it was a lovely day, as I said, and it didn't really matter. But we need to get that fixed because it's my own car. I like to have it working. So there's no customers' cars in today, so we're going to have a wee look at this. So just to give you an idea as well, this car has 349,000. That's in kilometers. So the odometer is in kilometers, and the speed there is in mph. So this is a Japanese import vehicle. So it is converted for UK roads, but the odometer is still in K, and that works out about 210,000 miles. So we'll just do a wee diagnosis and a wee bit of explaining on how these power windows operate in this car. So windows only operate with ignition on. Down here is the passenger, driver, and the two rears. So it's all full electric, this car. There's electric mirrors on it, and there's even an electric sunroof. And as I say, everything works. This is the first time I've ever had an electrical problem with the internal wiring. I've found this car to be very, very reliable. One of my best ever buys I've ever got in terms of cars. So anyway, we'll try and put that window up, and as you can see, nothing is happening. So that's that master switch with the passenger switch. Nothing there. So yeah, we can sort of, but this car here, it's fitted with oil pressure gauge, temperature gauge, and a voltmeter there. So if I can zoom you in on the voltmeter, we can have a wee look at that. So with me pressing the passenger window down, nothing's happening. With the rear up, that's trying to put it up, we can see the volt drop there. So that's me pushing it down, that's me pushing it up. So there's activity there, and the driver's up and the driver's down. We can see a load going on it. Now I'm using the passenger, or sorry, beg your pardon, the driver's switching console here, just because it's at my fingertips. So there's no activity there at all whenever I am pressing the passenger window switch up or down. But if I move over to the I'm reaching over to the other side, the passenger side here, and if I press it down on the passenger side, it's trying to go down. We can see a volt drop there. But I'm going to hold the button up the way to try to get the window up, and there's no change at all. So there's no deflection on the voltmeter, but there is whenever I push it down. So, okay, so the command for up or down isn't there from the master switch, but it wants to go down. It wants to go down whenever I press this switch, but there's nothing to make it go back up again. So yeah, that wee simple, the voltmeter's already there. May as well look at it for a wee bit of diagnosis there. So we know that that switch in the passenger side is actually wanting to put the window down, but because it is already down, we're not seeing anything happening. So what we'll do, we'll pull this door card off. We'll just do a diagnosis here, make sure the window motor is functioning, and get it to go up and down by putting power to it. This system here is it's very basic, it's very simple, and it purely all you're doing there with the switches is switching 12 volts. So I have a spare motor on the bench, and I'll just demonstrate very, very simply how this works. And hopefully, if anybody else has this sort of problem with these Toyotas and has a switch layout similar to this, they can give it a wee bit better understanding. I'm going to have a wee look at the wiring diagram and take it from there. Okay. So a wee quick Google search there, KZN130 wiring diagram is all I stuck in it there, and it's given me a few pictures up in the Google Images, which is very good. So we'll click on one I am, and what that comes up there is that image there. Okay, and that is from that website there, toyotasurf.asn.au. So that's the Toyota Surf Australian website, and we'll click visit there, and I've already done this search. So there's a whole host of downloads and articles, owner's manual, electrical, multi-battery setup, whole host of stuff, all PDF documents and Word documents there, all free and ready to download, which is great. So I've already, as I said, how do we look through all these? There's a couple of wiring diagrams pertaining to power windows. So we'll go into that wiring diagram 1 there, and let me see if we can see this. Okay. So okay, what we'll have here is your typical switch. So 2 wires to the motor. There's the front right one here. That's the left front one, which is the one that we're looking at. So power window, master switch. It all goes through the master switch. So there's 2 there. The right one has an automatic up and down, but basically I'll give you an idea. So we have 2 wires to the motor, and the switch, there's a wee arrowhead on there. So the switch just simply goes over there and over there for up and down. So it's not really showing here what is ground and what isn't, but it also gives us the color coding as well. So yeah, it gives you a bit of an idea. It's very simple the way it works. There's no relay box, and there's no control module. It all goes through the master switch, which is the 4 switches on the driver's side door card. So okay, take our diagnosis a bit further. I just happen to have a motor out of one of these. This is, I think, out of a Toyota Previa, whatever you call it, and they're all the same. The motors that do the rear window is from a passenger side. So if your rear window motor fails, the rear window on these Generation 2s is that big. It burns out this motor is actually too small for the big window at the back. So if you ever need a motor, this is how you test it, and all you need to do is find a passenger motor, and the only difference is the reason why you need a passenger one is because of the way it screws in. So I can't remember whether this is a passenger one or a driver's side one, but the mounting holes are just different. That's the only difference. So you can get these pretty handy on eBay. So we'll just we've got a power probe here, and yeah, you'll not be able to see the voltage with there. Oh, yeah, there's 12.5 volts. That's connected to the battery of the vehicle, and so this is the negative out of the power probe. That's the negative lead coming out of the power probe. That one there, and this whenever I press the go button here, it just energizes that tip. So you don't need one of these power probes to do this. You could do that with a couple of bits of wiring from a battery. So what we're seeing there is it's beeping at me and it's going green. But what that is, that is detecting the this negative through the motor, so through the windings of the motor and back out again. So don't think that's a negative. So that can throw you sometimes a bit when you have the load connected. So when you're doing testing, doing any sort of wiring checks, you need to have the load disconnected, because you'll get it feeding back through the windings. So anyway, we'll make this hot. We can see the thing spins. That's going anti-clockwise there at the minute, and you can see on the power probe as well there. This is you see that voltage drop there with the load. So if I'm holding that, if I take it off the load, 12.5 volts, put it on the load, drops to 12 volts. So that's what we're seeing on the voltmeter on the dashboard, and that's it going anti-clockwise. So quite simply then, all we need to do is reverse the polarity, do the same test, put that on, make it hot, and it goes clockwise. So that's your up and that's your down. So what we're expecting to see then when we're testing this switch, so what we're trying to discover is it the switch is the problem, is it the wiring, is it the motor, or what is the crack? So we are going to just do that quick test only on the car. So come back to your wiring diagram. This is where that changes. So that one there, whenever you go across, it gives it a power, but it still has that connected. So that there must be the ground. So that's a ground connection. That is going over to there to a live. So if we go up here, hot at all times, power window, and goes into that block diagram there. What's that? Door control relay, and then from that goes to the power window master switch. Now if you didn't have any electric windows working at all, you maybe not need to go to that relay there, which is in the engine bay. But because this is only one of mine isn't working, I know that relay is okay. So we get the power feed coming out on that blue and red, coming down into there. This is constantly through into the motor, so that has to be a ground. So that's a ground constantly through, and we'll click the switch over to there, and that gives it power on this side. So conversely then, if we want to go the other direction, this one here is constantly through to the motor, and if we click the switch over to here, then that then gives a power in the other direction and makes it go in the other way. So very, very simple system, very basic, but I like it because it's very reliable. I have a fair idea what's wrong with this setup here before I even do this testing, but we're just going to go through the diagnostic steps. So what we're going to do is, for a start, what I'm going to do is this window's stuck down. So it is. So this window's stuck down. So what we're going to do, if you needed to do this in in an emergency, without doing the repair, you need to get the window back up if it's raining or anything like that. So at the minute, the window won't go up. So we're going to pull this door card off. We're going to test our motor. We're going to test our linkage and our mechanism, and make sure, get the window go up and down, and then take our diagnosis from there and narrow down the fault. Okay. Right guys, we're going to just do a couple of wee bit of this door card removal. What I see in a lot of these here is a lot of these here are broken, and they flop about the back here. So it's where, and a lot of these here are broken as well, and it's where people are trying to take these off and they don't know how to come off. So I'm just going to show you this quickly. Right, the first thing to do is get a screwdriver or spudger or anything at all, and you lift this front bit. You don't prise it up at the back. You lift it at the front like that, and then it pulls forward. Okay, so what we'll have here is this wee tab, and whenever they're moving about at the back, it means this wee tab's broken off, and that's because somebody's been prying it up at the back. So we'll just disconnect our multi-plug there. The other thing we'll have is in here we'll have a multi-plug for that light there, which will knock it off here for ourselves. So that light comes on whenever the door switch is open. So that comes on whether it's hot all the time, even with the ignition off. So we'll just disconnect that wee plug. It's a wee bit tight on it, this plug. So there we go. And so that's that done. Okay. Next, there's a ordinary Phillips head type screw in there. That's probably a JIS screw, Japanese Industrial Standard screw. It's probably not a Phillips. And yeah, it's not a Phillips at all, because that's wobbling about. So that's how you strip these crosshead screws, is what they are actually called. So on most Japanese vehicles, Japanese motorbikes, they do not have Phillips heads. So I'll just show you a wee tool for that, what I should actually be using. Okay, these are what's called vessel impactors, and these have JIS, Japanese Industrial Standard crosshead screw heads on the screwdrivers there. But these are impactors. What these also do is you can actually, this is an impact driver, so you can actually strike this and that will rotate the handle by 17 degrees. So if I have these in two different sizes here, the two big sizes. I bought these from Amazon. These came from Osaka in Japan, and they have the Japanese brand on it there, and it's all Japanese writing on the back there, as I'm sure you can see. These are unbelievable. These are amazing, and you can buy these on Amazon, and I got these from Osaka to the UK, and they were a tenner each. And you can buy, I think you can buy a set of three, which I should have bought for like 25 quid or something like that, with the three different sizes, but I bought the two singly. Mistakenly, I should have bought the three different sizes, but anyway. So if we take that off, I just keep that on that because I have them hanging up on the wall. And as we can see, that screw that I just took out there fits on the end of that perfectly. Whereas if I use this as a good quality screwdriver, it's a Vera, and if I put the screw on the top there, it moves about. So hopefully you can see, hopefully that comes up. So the screw actually doesn't fit on that because that is the wrong tool for that screw, because that is not a Phillips head screw. So anyway, without further ado, we'll take the rest of this door card off. There's a couple of wee poppers here. Come out. And we'll use our JIS screwdriver. So any Japanese vehicle or motorbike has JIS crosshead screws. So they don't have Phillips screws, they don't believe in them. So I can feel that fitting so snugly into that crosshead screw there, and we'll just undo that. magnetic tip on it as well. So yeah, so the reason why I bought that larger one is for, you know, the screws that are on Honda brake rotors and other Japanese car brake rotors. So that gets them off no problem at all. If you use a Phillips head screwdriver and that, you just wring them out. So apparently, if you want a wee bit of science with that, apparently the idea of a Phillips head screw, it's beveled here, so that's actually so you can't over tighten it. So once you get this certain torque on the screw head, it will actually override the screw head, so it'll actually bounce out of it. So it means that you're not over torquing the screw. So that's like a built-in sort of philosophy that you can't over tighten the screw, where the Japanese philosophy isn't that. The Japanese philosophy is that you need to know what force to apply on it, so that will never override on the crosshead there. And I put it in, so it's up to you what the torque is. Whereas the idea of the Phillips is that it is the torque setting is built in to the head. So anyway, you may find that interesting. So yeah, we have another couple of wee plastic screw head thingies down here. So we'll just pull them out quickly. There's one over here. That's quite evident. You can see them. Nothing hidden here at all. And we'll have a wee popper. The way to do these is you press the inside of it in, and you just prise that out. Dead easy. Now, this here, I see a lot of these broken. Okay, and it's because people have been trying to pry these out. This is very well attached, even with that screw out. It's very well attached. So what you have to do is this comes forward. So you give it a good pull like that, and it pops forward like that, and that's it, unclipped. So another tricky wee bit is this here and here, but I'll just show you another wee trick. But I need to get another wee tool here for it. Okay, so back again. Hopefully you can see this okay. So you just pull this. This is the actuator rod. There is a bit of tension on it from the handle. So what you can do is just lift the handle up and it comes loose. Okay, and what I do, just hold it in place with a wee pair of vice grips there, and the wee clip. Then you very simply, James' last words, very simply, carefully pop that off, and the handle then drops out. So nothing broken, no plastics broken, and yeah, so far so good. Just let that spring back, and then it's just a case of popping the rest of the door card off here. And lift it up above the locker there. Throw that inside out of the way. Right, so that's your door handle. There's something that isn't used. Don't know what that is. Okay. And we pull a bit of this off. This weather shield here. Okay, that's great. So down here is the connector for the window motor. If you can see all that. So we'll pop it off, pull it up out, and we'll disconnect it. So there's our wire to the window motor. So it's completely independent. It's completely off the car now. So yeah. So what we'll do then is we'll get our power probe. So all we're doing is using this as a supply. That's all this is. You could do this with a couple bits of wire. You don't need one of these fancy tools. It's just handy when you're doing a lot of work. So that's our windings of our motor we're picking up, and we're getting nothing that way. So we'll reverse the polarity, and maybe it wasn't down there. So we will put it back in volts again. There we go. Must have hit that button there. Right. And yeah, that's about it, isn't it? So we'll put that. This is all done live, guys, so there's no editing here, so you'll see all the mistakes as well. Let's her up then. And reverse the polarity. And let's her down. Round the other way. And up she goes. So motor proved, mechanism proved. That's all fine. So there we go. We'll take it from there. So the motor plugged in again, the ignition's on, and we'll plug our switch in. So we'll see what we'll have here. So there's it going down. Won't go up. Okay. Fine. We'll see what we'll have at the back of the switch here. So there is, what's the ground? What we'll do, we'll have to disconnect the load again, because we'll get false readings through the windings of the motor. So there's a ground, hot, what's that in the middle? Nothing there, and a ground there. So we know that going down the way works. So we'll see what the pins are. Pin out isn't here in these wires. So with that hot, that doesn't change. So we expect one of these to come hot. And let's just prove me wrong. Must be this one. The middle one there. Just get my arm out of the road. The middle one there is going hot with the button depressed. And let's see, let's go up the way. See what we'll have. It goes that middle one there goes hot with the button depressed. Let me turn that noise off, it's getting annoying. So that goes hot with the button depressed. So it looks like we're missing the ground. So we are, let me see now, what do I have there? That's a ground there, and what happens there is nothing. So yeah, so how do we look at the wire diagram there to see the wiring colours here? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a ground, permanent ground, with centimeter leads here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these back probes off. So here's a yellow lead, and we'll just put that back probe on the other yellow lead there. And so that's a ground, and that should be the ground going to the multi-plug down here. So what I can actually do as well is, so what I can actually do as well, I just got grabbed the voltmeter there and put it on a continuity beep for a continuity check. So what we're getting on the output here, which is, so this is the motor saying is disconnected, and we're testing what's going to the motor. Yeah, so that one there is continuity with that wire, and that one there is the other side. Okay, so this one here to me is going to the motor, and that one there, whenever I press it up, goes hot. So, and that one there, there's nothing when I press the switch on this one. So we need to give that a ground, and there's a ground there. That's hot all the time. So that's a ground, and that should be the ground going to the motor. But whenever I'm clicking the switch here, nothing happens. So that ground isn't going to there. So that needs to be a ground on that, but there's just nothing on it. So there's a break in that wire somewhere. So anyway, we can prove that concept with our meter leads. This is what I was going to do a second ago. So we'll get our back probes, and we'll use the yellow one there. Pull that back probe out, put that in that yellow one. So what I'm doing is using that as a jumper. So there's our ground on this terminal. Our ground here. So I'm bridging that permanent ground there. I'm giving it a permanent ground. We'll plug our motor back in again. Let me see what I am. Plug our motor back in again, and window works. So okay, so I could actually just bridge that and give it a ground at this position here, and I'll probably do all right. But I want to actually find what the fault is. So we're going to guess a wee bit here now, which is not what we don't like doing, but it's highly likely there's that wire there, that red with a green tracer, is broken, and it more than likely is broken either here or over at the driver's side. But I am going to suspect the driver's side, because it's just me that drives this car forward, and this passenger door and the rear doors, they're open occasionally, but certainly not as much as the driver's. So very common on Volkswagens, very common on Fords, but certainly this is a 25-year-old vehicle. So it's sort of, yeah, with the door being open and closed that many times, it looks like one of our rewires. What happens is the insulation hardens up. PVC insulation goes stiff. Now, they're not too bad here, they're pretty flexible still, but because this isn't using relays, this system, these are full 12 volts, and the switching is at the switch, so there's no relay, and they're all like 2 or 3 mil wires that are going directly to the motor. So a bit of an analog system, as I say. So those rather large thick wires are in the door loom. The only other wires that should be in the door loom are that there for whatever that is for other models, and that wee annoying red light, and yeah, so that should be it. It's in that door loom, so that's it there going in. But on the driver's side, there's an awful lot more wires. So we'll do a wee quick, what we'll do, when we do a wee wiggle test, now that's up, we'll do a wee wiggle test on the driver's side. So we'll move over to there. So we're over at the driver's door here now, and we have had a change in condition of the fault. I give this loom here a bit of a wiggle with my hand, and now none of the power windows are working. Ignition's on, and let's just check to see if we've got anything here. The electric mirrors are working, the door lock thing is working, and we don't have anything. So let me see, we'll just carry on with our wiggle test. So I have the drivers, which was working before we started this, and we'll give it, yeah. So we have a broken lathe in there, as well as the broken neutral. Let me see if I press it. Yeah, hold it there. It's working. Still nothing, not a thing at all on the passenger. The rears are working. Passenger isn't working at all, up or down. It was going down initially, so we'll just give it another wiggle here. Not a thing. So we've got broken wires in this loom here, and this part of the loom for sure. So there we are. It's now pretty erratic. So it maybe was contacting whenever the door was closed. But yeah, that's good to find that. Good to find that fault there as well. So we just found another fault with it there by doing that wiggle test. So that's great. So we'll pull this door card off. I'm not going to show you that because I've already showed you how to do that. So we'll get this loom stripped down. Okay. Right guys, we've got our driver door card off now. So I'm just going to do this handheld here, so it may be a wee bit shaky. But just to show you about this loom here. So the loom inside of the door goes into that rubber grommet there. There's a connector, that's a connector for the electric door mirror. There is a white clip down at the bottom, near the bottom of the door. So you just pop that through, so that wee hole there at the hinge. So what we've done here is we've taken the panel off below the steering wheel. It's just a lot of those JIS screws. Seriously advise you, some of these are very tight, so you really need to use the proper screwdriver. You'll just wring these screws out. You need to use a JIS screwdriver on these, especially the screws that hold in the bonnet pull there and the fuel flap pull. So they're actually quite tight. They're just self toppers that are screwed into the plastic, and yeah, they've never been out before to my knowledge anyway in this car. So that there is an earth. That is for an aftermarket fog light switch, which you need for UK specification. There's a lot of other wires up in here that you wouldn't normally see. There's a big bunch of wires there. That is for the immobilizer, which connects up into, there's a wee pickup in behind here for an immobilizer. So UK specification, you need a rear fog light. And you need to have, to be able to get insurance, you need to have a Tacoma approved category 2, I think it is, immobilizer system, because these cars don't come with alarms or anything like that. There must be no crime in Japan. They don't have wheel lockers either. So we'll just have a wee. I never fitted all that. It came when I bought the car. I bought this car. It was basically off the boat in Southampton from Japan, and the guy had imported it. Got all this stuff fitted for me, so I could drive it. I drove it up the mainland of the UK to Stranraer and over on a boat. That is the immobilizer, sterling, evaluated by Tacoma. So Tacoma approved alarm box there. Well, it's not an alarm, it's an immobilizer. So we'll just get that back out again. It just sits above the steering column there. So yeah, it's pretty reliable. It's never given me any trouble. So on the key then, we'll have a wee transponder, and it just hangs on the key. It just hangs on the key, so the pickup's in behind here somewhere, and you get that wee LED then as well. So yeah, there's a bit of wiring bunched up there. That's the LED. Is that the LED? No, that's the LED wiring there. So yeah, let's get that back up out of the way. So anyway, to get at this loom is in the grommet there, and goes right through. This area here, this is the reason what I was trying to get at. And behind here, you'll see this white plastic thing that resides in behind there, and that's for the speaker. That's for your front right speaker. So you pull that out, pull that big box out, and it opens it all up for you, which is pretty good. So if we can get the light in here, we'll have this box here. This box here resides up in there. There's a wee 10mm screw holding it on. So that is coming from the instrument cluster. That is actually a door module of some sort of description. What that actually does, all that actually does, that box, is it shows on the instrument panel doors open and stuff like that there. So it doesn't really do an awful lot, but there's quite a few wires going into it there. So there's wires going in and wires going out. So that's what that thing there does, if you're ever wondering. So anyway, this loom comes in. Hopefully we can focus a bit better and see it. That's the loom there coming in. That sort of red wire there. So you can see it coming in there from the door. That comes in and splits off into two connectors here. So a connector there and a connector there. So those two connectors. So what we're going to do is unplug those two and pull the loom through. Okay, so you can see the red tape on it there, and pull it right through the door. Pull it right through and right out of here, and slide that wee grommet down. Just another wee thing we need to do is there's a bit of tape on that wee splitter there that holds it. So we'll need to undo that, and we'll be able to pull the loom through. So, okay, so here we have the loom pulled through now. There's our grommet, a couple of bits of tape holding it, so I've slid that down towards those three connectors on it there, in there. So we'll have it pulled through the door, and it's just hanging out of the door, so that gives me a good bit of length on it. I did untape that. You don't really have to do that, I suppose, but it made it a wee bit easier to pull out. So here's our culprit. So I'm really glad I did this, because there's a number of issues here. There's a number of problems, and there we go. If it'll focus, the wires are, there's one broken completely there, and it's all the thicker wires. The smaller wires seem to be okay. It's all these ones that are on this side of the bend. So there's three wires with the insulation compromised there, and yeah, one broken completely. That one there is broken, just holding the insulation. That one there's cracked, ready to go. So it's just on the bend there. Okay, so listen, I've seen this sort of problem on Volkswagens and Fords, as I say. The Fords are a real pain because all the wires are black and you don't know what one goes on to what. These ones here are marked with blue with tracers on them, with stripes on them there. So I'm just having a wee look. Because I've done this, I'll have to maybe check to see where I'll repair them all, or just the ones that are broken there. So there's three anyway, definitely three that we're going to repair. So I'll just give you a bit of an idea. I've seen the repairs that other people have done on Volkswagens and stuff like that, and what they tend to do, they do a wee quick repair. They just join them back there again at this position, Now, if you do that, it won't last at all, because if I've seen it with the guys, somebody actually crimped them, put crimps on them, just crimped them together and taped it all up. Now, whenever you tape it all up again, if you put a ball of tape around this, you need to have the wires being able to move. So the tape stops the wires from able to move about, and they'll just break again on you. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a solder, maybe about here, a solder repair on the bit that doesn't move, and then a solder repair maybe down here, or about this area where it remains static in the door. So yeah, and what I'm going to use for this is this. This is household flax. So these are very flexible, and I just have to check the size. It looks a wee bit small, that, but I'll have a hook about and see what I'm going to use. So I'm going to strip a bit of flax and use the different colours, two different colours there, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to bridge a piece in about that length, perhaps, so that it can move about. And I'm okay to tape it up to this area here, but I'll maybe remove this tape, because I want these wires to be able to move. I don't want to capture them, and they'll just be in the grommet then. So yeah, that's a bit of a tip for doing a repair on these looms. Don't just repair it here. Whatever you do, don't have a connection here, because it'll actually compromise the rest of them as well if you have a big crimp in here. So it'll just push and compromise the rest of them if you have any sort of connection in this area. So you need to have the connections either side of it. So we'll go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what the finished product looks like. Okay, so that's our wee repair done. Just use that soldering iron there, and a wee bit of 3mm heat shrink on her there on each wee connector. But the important thing to note is, as I said earlier, you do the joints on the bit that's not going to move about with the door opening and closing. So the joints are done away back, it's stripped away back, grommet's pushed away down as far as I can get it, and yeah, so they're slightly staggered as well, ever so slightly. I'll keep them apart and tape it up to about there, and tape that back up till about that position there. So this bit here is clearly where the loom bends as the door opens. Now, how do we poke around with these other ones? So it seems to be just the wires that were at the front here, were the ones that were broken. The 3 wires there, all the rest of them seem okay. There's plenty of that white one there. There's a good bit of slack in it. So the important thing to note is, whenever you go to tape this up, do not have any tape in this area here, the bit that flexes. So if you do that, it will actually break these wires, because these wires need to move about. They'll actually come back and forward very slightly as you open and close the door. So I'm going to tape it up, as I said, to about that area there where the tape was originally, and tape that bit up, put that back up again into position, and get her fed through the door, get these door cards back on again, and that will be it. And hopefully we will have years to come of no more electric window issues. So yeah, pretty common issue on Fords and Volkswagens, as I said. This car, however, 25-year-old, can't really fault it for those wires just becoming brittle with age, and with the door opening and closing, considering the mileage and the work that this car has seen. So yeah, don't really blame it. It doesn't make the car a bad car by any means. It doesn't make it an unreliable car, but certainly the PVC naturally gets hard over time. So anything like that, which is there's gonna be movement in, will eventually give trouble. It's inevitable almost with the type of age in this. I've seen Volkswagens and Fords, as I say, these looms break in cars that they're only 7 or 8 year old. This car's would be nearly 3 times that age. So yeah, there's no problem in my mind with this happening. So it deserves to give wee faults now and again. But as I say, generally speaking, very reliable car, and yeah, thoroughly enjoy this car. So anyway, that's the end. That's the end of this video. I'm not going to shoot the rest of this. Installation is reversal of the removal. Hope that helps somebody. Anybody has one of these type of cars, Toyota, Tundra, Tacoma, Landcuiser, Prado, anything like that has this old type of operating system where it just switches to 12 volts to make the windows go up and down. It doesn't have a control module in every door like a modern car would have. A very common feature is these wires breaking. So if you have a problem with the windows, to save all that diagnosis that we did at the start, but that is there to show the methodology and how we go about doing things. We're not just guessing, but yeah, you could have went straight to it and give the loom a wee bit of a wiggle at the start and see what happened, and you would need one near the passenger door. But anyway, hope you get something out of it. Hope it helps somebody, and many thanks for watching as ever, and all the best, and bye bye.